Thank you. All right, your next witness is...
It's Jennifer West, Your
All
Honor.
right, Ms. West, if you can come stand here in front of me and raise your right hand.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, after that?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And has Ms. West been sworn in, Your Honor? Thank you, I appreciate that. And may you state your name for the record, please, and spell it for the court reporter.
Jennifer West, Jenniffer West.
Thank you. And Ms. West, can you tell the jury, how are you currently employed?
I'm a first grade teacher at Rich Neck Elementary.
And how long have you been a teacher?
23 years.
Where were you on January 6, 2023 as a teacher?
Rich Neck Elementary.
And which grade were you teaching then?
First grade.
And you're familiar with Abby Zwerner?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury how you knew her on January 6,
She
2023?
was my teammate and taught across the hall.
And tell the jury on that day, did something happen at recess that stuck out to you?
Yes. My class was a few minutes late going out to recess. Abby's class and another class were already outside. When I got out there, I was told that, or Abby told me that she saw JT take something from his backpack and put it in his coat. And I spent the rest of recess kind of watching JT and another student, R. They kept going behind the tree at the playground, and then R would walk away. They'd come back together, and I witnessed that for 15 or 20 minutes while we were outside.
And then after recess, tell the jury, where did you go immediately after recess?
I went initially, and we had a second entrance into the school. I had a student that was acting aggressively, and I opened the side door, and he took off into the hallway, and I followed him down that other hallway towards the office. And when I got to the office, I hollered inside to Mr. Sims, our music teacher, who was standing at the counter, and told him I needed some help with this student. Continued down the hall, and when I got to the corner, the student turned right, and to the left is the first grade hallway. And at the intersection, I ran into Mr. Rawls and Dr. Parker.
Right, and let me slow you down right there. What did you do with the rest of your class when you went after the other boy?
We were in the process of lining up from recess, and when we come in from recess, one teacher typically would blow a whistle, and every class would get in line with their teacher. And so my class walked inside with Abby's class and the other. I don't remember if the other teacher had gone in yet or not.
And just so the jury understands, so when you're at recess, it's typically all the first grade students?
Yes.
Okay. And so back to, you said you saw Dr. Parker and you saw John Sims.
Yes.
And then where do you go from there? Do you turn back to your class?
I went to my class, yes.
So as you're walking to your class, is there anything you do involving the other student, R, who you saw with JT at recess?
I did. I asked to speak with him, to ask him what was going on at recess.
Let me just ask you, why did you talk to R?
Partially to find out, because we were watching their interaction.
To find out what?
It seemed that something was being hidden at recess. And when I pulled R out of, I can't honestly remember if it was from the line or from the classroom, but I pulled him to the hallway.
And let me ask you, was there anyone else in the hallway with you as you're talking to R?
Not initially.
Okay.
Abby may have been standing at her door because we had both our classes. And I asked him what was going on. He said, I can't tell you. And he was visibly nervous. And I said, it's okay, you can tell me. And he said, no, I can't. He said that he would hurt us, he would blow us up. And I said, well, what do you mean? I said, it's okay, you can tell me. And he told me, he said that JT had a gun and he saw it in the bullet. And I said, well, what color was it? trying to see if it was real or not, I guess. And he said, well, it was bullet colored. And he was crying at that point, teary-eyed. And I had him come into my classroom, and I called the office to report it. And Mr. Sims answered the phone. And then I went back to my door, and Mr. Rawls was bringing my other student
And before
back
you
to me.
get into Mr. Rawls, why did you feel the need to call the office and report it?
Because R had said that JT had a gun.
Was that the protocol, to call the office and report it to an
Yes.
administrator?
Yes.
And did you send R back to Miss Werner's class,
No.
or did you keep R in your class?
I kept R in my class for the rest of the day. He was visibly scared. He was worried that JT was going to act, which is why he didn't want to tell me to begin with.
And can you describe for me, as you're talking about him being visibly scared, what does that look like?
You could his demeanor, his facial expressions. When I said, it's okay, you can tell me, when the words finally came out of his mouth, he had tears. I was at that point convinced that he had seen something.
Okay. And then you were talking about Mr. Rawls coming down to your classroom. So what happened then?
Mr. Rawls brought my student back to me, and I said, can you talk to him? Mr. Rawls is a guidance counselor, so we rely on them to speak to children when they have some big emotions. And I said, he's scared. He is visibly shaken. Can you please talk to him? And I reported to Mr. Rawls that I had been told that JT's backpack had been checked while we were at recess. And I said to Mr. Rawls, why can't we check his person? R says he had it on him. Can we check him? And at that point, Mr. Rawls left my room.
Let me slow you down right there. So before Mr. Rawls leaves your room, do you see Mr. Rawls talk to R?
I can't remember if I saw the conversation or not. It was right outside my classroom door, and I honestly don't remember where my position was at that point.
Once Mr. Rawls is leaving and R's coming in, what does he look like then? What's his demeanor? How is he acting?
He was scared. I had him sit at one of my tables. A student was absent, so I put him in the empty student seat. And every time he'd get up, he got up frequently and would side eye to look out the classroom door window. It seemed to me that he was checking to see what was going on across the hall.
When he came back from talking with Mr. Rawls, did he still have teary eyes?
Yes.
Teary eyes. So tell me, where, if you know, did Mr. Rawls go when he left your classroom?
He said he was going to Dr. Parker to ask permission to search JT.
And then did you see Mr. Rawls again that day?
He came back and told me that we were told we could not search him.
Okay. And then did you keep R in your class the
Yeah,
remainder
R
of the
stayed
time?
in my classroom even after the incident.
And when you say the incident,
The shooting.
And did you hear the
Yes.
shooting?
Yes.
Okay. Once you heard the shooting, what did you think that was?
I knew it was a gunshot.
And where did you think it had come from?
Abby's room.
Did someone open your door at that moment?
I did.
Okay.
I opened the door, and Abby's class came across the hall. I saw a side view of Abby. I couldn't see her face. I knew that she had been shot because there was blood on the floor, and I saw her hand. And once I got all of the students in, I shut my door and followed lockdown procedures, even though lockdown had not been called yet.
And R still with you in the class at that time?
Yes.
And did you see JT at that moment?
I did not.
But you knew at that time
Yes.
that something had happened. JT had done something.
Yes.
And you knew at that time it was a gun.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all the questions I have right now. I appreciate
Thank
if
you.
you'll answer any of opposing counsel or the judges.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Ron. Ms. West,
Yes.
you're one of the lead first grade teachers at Richland Elementary School, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the case back in 2023 as well, right?
Yes.
And by lead first grade teachers, that means that you're in the hierarchy of responsibility there at the school. You have some teachers that work under you, or you have some authority over them, correct?
I don't know that they don't work under me. I'm the lead of the team. What that means is I attend meetings at the district level and disseminate information to my team that way. And I am part of the lead team at the school, but I'm not in charge of any teachers.
That's right. And part of your responsibility as a lead teacher also is you can serve as a mentor for fellow teachers.
It has nothing to do with being a lead. I can choose to be a mentor teacher. I just happen to be both.
And you were a mentor to Ms. Warner.
Yes. The previous year, her first year in first grade.
And as her mentor, you kind of showed her the ropes with classroom management. You showed her the ropes with how school works and school operates. And you try to share and impart knowledge to her, right? As her mentor.
Yes.
In addition to having the opportunity to mentor folks, sometimes you have some supervisory responsibilities at the school.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Say, for example, as lead teacher, isn't it typical, or was it typical at the time, that you would have a walkie-talkie if you went out to recess? That would usually go to the lead teacher.
I don't believe it was. I believe it was the first teacher that went out to recess would get the walkie-talkie, so that there was one on the playground regardless of who was out there.
Understood. On January 6, 2023, you had a walkie-talkie.
I did at the end of the day, like after recess. I honestly don't remember having it prior to the lockdown.
On January 6th, the first time you encountered Mrs. Warner was out on the playground at recess, correct?
No, at lunch.
At lunch.
Yes.
That was in Miss Miller's classroom.
Yes.
And that's when Mrs. Warner came in, and you referred her to go and speak to the administration, right?
Yes.
After that, the next time you encounter Abby was on the playground, correct?
Yes.
When, on January 6th, when you went to recess that day, you got there a little bit late, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ordinarily probably be around 12:20, 12:25.
Yes.
You were there around 12:35.
Yes.
Right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand your testimony today to be when you arrived on the playground, Ms. Warner let you know that she suspected or had reason to believe that JT might have a firearm on his person.
I don't specifically remember her saying firearm. I remember in the notes that I wrote down from that day was that she told me she witnessed him take something. I wasn't convinced it was a firearm until I spoke with R.
Okay. Once you arrived on the playground, did she immediately notify you?
Within a couple of minutes, likely, yes.
Okay. Ms. West, I'm going to show you an exhibit which has been marked for identification as Defense 63H. And I just want this to be displayed to Ms. West and council.
63H.
That's correct. Ms. West, can you see that display?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to play a portion of this clip and ask if you recognize the individual who appeared on the screen. Brian, can you play, please? All right, can we pause here, please? Okay, Ms. West, do you recognize, is this a fair and accurate representation of you coming onto the playground at recess time on January 6, 2023?
I don't know. I don't know. Are you talking about on the sidewalk?
Yes.
I honestly don't know if that's me or not, but it might be.
Sure, you can continue playing, Brian. And that individual who just passed, the person in the green sweater, that was Abby Zwerner, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize yourself in this image now?
Yes.
Okay. So that's you, Miss West, standing there on the playground on the day before the shooting occurs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you just saw that you passed Mrs. Warner on the way out onto the playground. At that stage, she had not informed you.
I don't believe so. I can't say for sure.
Right, and you'll see that in this display, you're the only adult on the playground at this stage.
Okay.
You would agree?
It appears so.
And there's multiple children out there, right?
Yes.
You're the only adult supervising those children, correct?
I mean, that's what it looks like, but there are, we would like station ourselves in other places, so.
Sure, we can continue playing the rest of the clip.
Okay.
But this image here, you're the only adult.
Can be seen by camera, yes.
Correct. Brian, if you could continue playing the clip, please. Brian, let's do. Let's do 63 F, or excuse me, let's do 63I, please. So this is skipping forward. If you could pause here, Brian, please. Miss West, can you see in the upper right quadrant, the upper right corner of this video?
Mm-hmm.
There's an individual out there. Do you recognize that?
I mean, it looks like me.
Okay. And Brian, please continue playing. All right, and Your Honor, I would ask for permission to publish this to the jury. I believe I overlooked that initially.
Is there any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Permission to publish?
All right, at this stage, which has been paused, it looks like you're in the upper right corner of the surveillance image here, while Abby Zwerner is across from you on the other side of the playground, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, Brian, due to my oversight, if we could go back to the original clip and just show that for the jury, if we can publish that, please. We'll see Miss West come onto the playground, pass Mrs. Warner. And if you could pause, please.
And that's 62H that you just showed, is that correct?
This is E, Your Honor, 62E. Or sorry, this is 63H, excuse me. Miss West, while you're here on the playground here, at this stage, you have no knowledge whether or not John Doe possesses, or JT possesses a firearm, right? No one's giving you any warning.
I don't recall specifically, but probably not.
Right, and so Ms. Warner, at that stage, had knowledge that JT
And Judge,
possessed
I
a
would
firearm.
object at this point for speculation. He's
Okay.
saying what another person had knowledge of.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate.
Lack of foundation at this point.
That's fine, she cannot testify to that, but it's been established.
The objection is sustained.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. West, you've testified that at some stage while you were out on the playground, you were eventually informed that JT might have a weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you were trying to keep an eye on him, right?
Now, I was informed that he took something from his backpack. I can't speak for sure if I was told it was a weapon.
And from that point onward, you were trying to keep an eye on him, right?
Yes.
Okay. And your testimony today was that you were trying to remain vigilant because you suspected that he might have a weapon.
Have something. I was told he took something from his backpack.
When you were on the playground, did you feel in fear for your safety?
Honestly, I don't know. I was watching 40-ish children and keeping an eye on somebody that we were unsure.
And after you received the report from Ms. Warner that JT might possess a firearm, and you began watching him, at that point, weren't you concerned for your safety?
Honestly, I don't know. It is a blur. But again, I don't recall specifically if the word firearm or gun was used at that time. I was convinced that there was a gun after I spoke with R after recess.
report some diligence, please. At some stage when you were out on the playground, Ms. West, you had another student who became disruptive, right?
Yes, when we were lining up.
Right. And at that stage, you had already received information that JT might have a weapon, right?
Again, I can't say for sure that the word weapon or gun was used. My notes that I wrote down that day, I just said that it was reported that he took something. I can't speak clearly that I was told it was a weapon.
When you returned to the school to deal with that student, and you got inside, you encountered Dr. Parker.
For about 2 seconds. We walked past each other.
Right. And you walked past her because you were dealing with the other student who had become disruptive on the playground.
I was following him because he was eloping. He was running from me.
He was running from you.
Yes.
And you contacted Dr. Parker and asked for assistance, right?
I don't remember what I said to her, but it was literally in passing. It was not a stop and have a conversation.
And a guidance counselor or
Was also in the hallway with Dr.
and
Parker.
intercepted the child
Yes.
and took him to the main office to be disciplined.
I don't know where he took him.
When you encountered Dr. Parker in that hallway, you didn't disclose any of the information you had received.
I did not, because I was not convinced until after that when I spoke with R.
So your suspicion that JT might have an actual weapon of some kind didn't materialize until you spoke to RR, is that correct?
I was convinced when I spoke with R.
But up to that point, you had a suspicion?
Yes. And I was focused on my student in that moment, and I don't know why I didn't say anything when I walked past Dr. Parker in the hallway.
When Ms. Werner first reported that the student might have had an item on this person, it was possible that he might have a weapon, right?
It was possible, yes,
And you're familiar with the protocols that were
to report to an administrator.
But also, is it your understanding that if someone reports that there's a suspected weapon, you should presume that it's legitimate?
I'm not sure what you mean.
So you're not familiar with the protocols?
Oh, I'm not sure what you're asking. Can you ask that again?
I'm asking that you had received information that the student might have something that may or may not be a weapon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And despite that knowledge, you remained on the playground with multiple students.
Yes.
You allowed that child to continue playing. You allowed that child to continue playing with other children.
What should I have done?
Detain them,
You can't. How
Isolate?
was I supposed to detain him?
isolate them, evacuate the area.
An
Use
alert.
the walkie-talkie to contact the
That's
organization.
not something you would put over a walkie-talkie.
You wouldn't want to share with the school that there's a suspected weapon? That's all
You
I'm saying.
wouldn't alert the entire school over walkie-talkie that there's a suspected weapon.
But you would allow a child in possession of a suspected weapon to commingle with other children.
It was my understanding that Dr. Parker had been made aware by another teacher
And,
while we were at recess.
and so you took no measures to isolate this child, to detain him.
I
to
did
search him.
not try to isolate him, no.
Rather, you prioritized disciplining another student.
It wasn't disciplining, he was eloping. And I was keeping him away from harming somebody. He was putting his hands on another student.
Right, you perceive that as an imminent threat to that student. That's why you followed that student, correct?
Because I witnessed it, yes.
And you took action on it, right?
Well, I opened the door and he ran.
And you left the playground when you did that.
I did.
And JT remained on the playground when you left
Yes.
with the other students
Yes.
with a potential firearm.
That Dr. Parker had already been made aware
You have received no confirmation that she received any information to that effect.
of. The confirmation came from my coworkers telling me that she had been made aware.
Your
I
coworkers-
spoke
your
with
coworkers who remained on the playground with you.
One of them, yes, but one of them was not on the playground.
Ms. West, you've testified that when you left JT on the playground, you didn't know whether or not he had a weapon.
I was not confirmed, no.
But your testimony today was that you didn't even think that he had a firearm?
No. I said it was suspected. I didn't know what it was. Once I questioned R and he told me that he had seen a weapon, and I saw how scared R was, how visibly shaken he was by the threats of harm from JT. That's what convinced me that it was a weapon.
And let's fast forward a little bit. Once you spoke to R about the reports or information he received about JT, that's when you decided to contact the administration, right?
Yes.
But you didn't go there directly.
I couldn't go there. I had a classroom full of children.
But you left them on the playground before last time.
They were
previously.
getting in line with another
Do you
teacher.
only leave children on the playground when you suspect one of them has a firearm?
That's never
Is
happened
that the
before or
protocol that's in
since.
place? It happened on January 6th.
You are correct.
I am correct.
But there was no protocol in place for that other than report to your administrator.
There was no protocol in place.
I mean, it was report to your administrator, and it had been reported.
So, meanwhile, while you had information that a child might have a weapon, you allowed children to remain on the playground unsupervised.
Judge, objection. This question's been asked and answered numerous times at this point. Her answer's
I
not
agree.
going to change.
I can move on from this.
Right, that objection is sustained.
Thank you.
Ms. West, you testified that when you arrived on the playground, you weren't told specifically whether or not JT had a gun. Is that
That's
correct?
that's what my notes. I wrote down notes that night, and that's what my notes say.
Do you recall testifying in a deposition in this matter?
Yes.
You remember being placed under oath?
Yes.
You swore to tell the truth.
Yes.
Brian, if you could pull up page 73 of the August 13th, 2025 deposition.
Remind, what was the page number again? Just for my bad.
It's page 73. I'm sorry, Ms. West, page 73, if you go and direct your attention to line 19, excuse me, lines 17 to 19. You recall you were questioned, so at that moment you're out on the playground and you think John Doe has a gun. And you respond, I'm told that he does, yes.
Yes.
So your testimony under oath at the deposition preceding this trial was that Ms. Warner had reported to you that this child had, in fact, a firearm.
That's what I said then, yes.
And you were unequivocal at that stage.
I don't recall. It was an emotional time during the deposition.
I imagine it would be an emotional time on a playground when a teacher reports that a child has a gun. right?
It would, sure.
Yet you left him on the playground thinking that he had a gun and you didn't do anything.
Judge, again, I'm objecting. It's been asked and answered a few times.
Thank you.
I have no further questions as well, Mr. Judge.
Before you sit down, did you show a second video clip, or was that a clip that you
There were
showed?
multiple clips. I think there was,
63I is the second one.
All right.
that's correct.
That's Brian, by the way, for the transcript. All right. Redirect.
Just one question, Your Honor. Can you tell the jury who was the teacher that you understood was telling Dr. Parker while you were at recess that they thought JT had a gun on the playground?
Amy Kovac, her reading specialist.
I guess second question, who did you think she was telling that to? Okay,
Dr. Parker.
thank you.
All right. Any follow-up based on that?
One question. The reason you thought Ms. Kovac reported to Dr. Parker was because you had spoken to Ms. Kovac, correct?
I don't believe I've spoken to her. I believe I was told.
So, and you weren't present for that conversation?
No.
You had no direct knowledge of whether or not she actually communicated with Dr. Parker that way?
I guess not, no.
No further questions, Judge?
All right. Is she excused, or do you want her resequestered?
Your Honor, I'm fine releasing her from our subpoena. I know she has been subpoenaed by defense as well, Judge.
Okay, and you reserve the right to call her?
Just we reserve the right to call.
Okay.
Well, report it.
All right, but she can go for today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. West, I'm going to release you from your testimony, from being in court today, but you are still considered a witness in the case, so you're not allowed to discuss this testimony or anything you've heard or testified to about this case with anyone, all right? And you have her number to reach her?
Your Honor, I did want to also ask that you could instruct the witnesses who are still under subpoena not to watch any coverage on TV.
Correct,
of the
yeah,
proceedings.
absolutely, and obviously, no watching of any reporting of any of this until you are, if and when you are called back or released for good from this case, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ms. West, you're free to leave.